Between the real and the impossible, there is a secret space, a place where engineering turns into magic and human imagination creates worlds that feel like dreams. And it is precisely in this territory that our journey begins, because in the end, that's what it's all about, discovering the wonders of the world and within ourselves. Today, you will walk with me through destinations that make anyone question reality itself. And before we open this door to the future, I have a special invitation for you. If this universe fascinates you as much as it fascinates me, subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It's not just a gesture, it's the fuel that takes us further. It's like saying, I want to keep traveling through these impossible worlds. And trust me, you'll want to keep going. There are constructions so surreal that they seem to have been created by advanced civilizations, dimensional portals, or some intelligence we don't even know yet. Cities floating in the desert, resorts glowing like spaceships, bioluminescent gardens, bridges inspired by human DNA. Today, you'll see all of this and much more come to life before your eyes. So, take a deep breath, turn up the volume, and get ready for a journey that will make you rethink what is possible. Because now we're about to cross together some of the most fascinating, futuristic, and magical places that have ever existed. Let's begin this journey side by side because from here on, the future is our next destination. The Museum of the Future is the kind of structure that makes you doubt your own eyes. The curved, gleaming building, crossed by luminous calligraphy, feels more like a living creature than an architectural work. The elliptical opening is not emptiness, but a symbol, what humanity has yet to discover. And with every step toward it, the feeling grows that we are about to cross a portal. Inside, the impact is even greater. The rooms are not exhibitions, but entire worlds designed to make us imagine better versions of tomorrow. In one moment, you are inside a spacecraft gazing at the stars. In the next, you find yourself within forests recreated with almost magical precision. The museum does not show the future, it makes you feel it. The museum was designed as a living work of engineering. The walls respond to light, the spaces adapt to each environment, and technology always appears as a natural extension of the setting. There are no ordinary screens or traditional display cases. Everything is immersion, movement, interaction. Each room was programmed to engage the senses, as if the visitor were walking inside a futuristic thought. In the end, what impresses the most is realizing how everything there was designed to inspire. Visitors leave with the feeling that the future can be as beautiful as we dare to dream. Dubai didn't build a museum, it built a promise. And those who enter that building never leave the same. They leave more curious, more hopeful, more aware that we are only just beginning. Shabara Resort appears on the horizon like a floating mirror over the Red Sea. Its geometric structures reflect sky, water, and sunlight in an almost hypnotic way, as if the resort had no form of its own. It feels like a futuristic mirage, a bright point between the silence of the desert and the vast blue beyond. It's the kind of sight that makes any traveler stop in absolute awe. As you get closer, everything becomes even more surreal. Metallic modules connect through walkways that seem designed to disappear into the air. Inside, minimalist design meets the natural landscape with delicacy, as if every detail had been planned not to interfere with the surrounding purity. This is architecture that doesn't impose itself. It dissolves, as if it had always belonged there. Inside the interiors, the feeling is one of absolute lightness. Soft lighting, natural materials, and enveloping silence create an atmosphere that feels suspended in time. Wide windows frame the sea like living artworks, and every space was designed to merge luxury with simplicity. It's as if the resort were created to let the outside world enter freely, without asking permission. And what's most fascinating is how everything there seems to exist in perfect balance with nature. Nothing competes for attention. Architecture shapes the landscape, and the landscape gives depth back to the architecture in a constant dialogue. Each step reveals a new perspective, a new meeting between form and horizon. It's a place that turns even the simplest glance into discovery. Entering Gardens by the Bay feels like crossing the border into an unknown planet. The super trees rise so tall and intricate that they resemble organic structures, hybrids of nature and science. Each metallic trunk supports hundreds of plant species, creating a vertical ecosystem that defies logic. It's a forest of new forms that turns the sky into a stage. As the day goes on, the gardens reveal layers of magic. Elevated walkways cross the crowns of the super trees, while the scent of plants blends with the city's warm breeze. Among giant greenhouses, mirrored lakes, and steel structures that resemble metallic roots, Singapore presents itself as a metropolis that chose to reinvent nature itself. Here, technology doesn't replace, it blooms. And then night falls. The trees glow, the music begins, and the entire sky turns into a spectacle. Lights dance in perfect synchrony, illuminating the gardens with impossible colors. For a few moments, time seems to stop, and it becomes clear that this isn't just an attraction, but a new form of beauty, where the human and the natural meet in perfect harmony. In the heart of Dubai rises one of the largest and most impressive shopping malls in the world, a colossus that feels more like an entire city than a commercial center. Thousands of stores, monumental corridors, and futuristic attractions fill the space. Everything unfolds on a scale that is almost impossible to comprehend. Each floor reveals new surprises, as if the place were designed to never be fully exhausted before the eyes. Here, the extraordinary is the rule, and grandeur becomes a natural part of the landscape. Right at the entrance, visitors are pulled into a universe where technology and fantasy walk side by side. The gigantic aquarium with its surreal marine life. The Olympic-sized ice rink in the middle of the desert, and virtual reality simulators create a constant feeling of crossing through portals. Monumental sculptures, indoor fountains, and themed spaces turn every corridor into a new setting. Dubai Mall does not limit itself to offering shopping. It creates entire worlds. And when stepping outside, the impact continues. Just a few steps away, the world's most famous choreographed fountain dances before the Burj Khalifa, creating a spectacle that echoes through the city's sky. It feels as if the mall extends beyond its walls, connecting every detail to a greater narrative of luxury, innovation, and visionary architecture. In this encounter between futuristic urbanism and sensory magic, Dubai Mall proves why it is one of the most fascinating places on Earth. Entering the universe of Team Lab means abandoning the rules of reality. The artworks do not stay fixed on the walls. They move, interact, cross rooms, and transform as you move. Light becomes matter, colors come alive, and the space responds to touch, as if dreams had found a way to project themselves into the physical world. At Borderless, everything is continuous motion. The installations spread without boundaries, creating an experience with no beginning and no end. The artworks connect like thoughts in constant flow, invading new spaces and reinventing themselves in real time. The feeling is of being inside a universe that breathes, pulses, and never repeats itself. At Planets, the experience engages both body and emotion. Liquid floors, infinite mirrors, and halls submerged in digital flowers dissolve the sense of where you end and the environment begins. It is a complete sensory journey that transforms light and technology into pure poetry, where art is no longer observed but lived. Palm Jumeirah is proof that Dubai does not accept limits. An entire island built in the sea, designed with the precision of a cosmic architect in the shape of a palm tree. Seen from above, the symmetry is so perfect that it looks like a digital creation made by computer. But it is not. It truly exists, solid, massive, and impossible to ignore. The scale is both intimidating and fascinating. Roads, hotels, mansions, and beaches spread across the palm's fronds, while a massive breakwater protects the entire structure. The project required millions of tons of sand and rock, cutting-edge engineering, and a vision many once considered impractical. Yet today, it stands as a global symbol. Palm Jumeirah is so large that the curvature of the Earth had to be considered in its design to keep its leaves perfectly aligned. Around 94 million cubic meters of sand were used to shape the island, none of it taken from the desert, but dredged from the Persian Gulf itself. Every detail reveals an extreme level of planning. Walking along the palm feels like crossing into an alternate future. The traditional city is left behind, giving way to a landscape where the sea, architecture, and luxury form a visual symphony. Each curve reveals almost cinematic views, turning Palm Jumeirah into more than a destination, but a declaration that the impossible is simply a matter of will. In the heart of the mountainous metropolis of Chongqing, a shopping mall emerges that feels planted rather than built. Ring Shopping Mall transforms architecture into an ecosystem, creating a suspended forest within the urban environment. Walkways twist into organic curves resembling giant rising roots, while each level reveals new vertical gardens, as if the city had decided to cultivate an entire world inside itself. The main attraction is Muguang Forest, an indoor oasis with waterfalls, green platforms, and living trees illuminated both naturally and artificially. Light passes through the translucent roof as if filtered by a natural canopy, creating a tropical forest atmosphere inside China's greatest concrete jungle. The space is so vast that it creates the sensation of walking inside a futuristic greenhouse. Here, technology and nature stop being opposites and become a single sensory experience. Chongqing Ring was designed to maintain constant temperature and humidity, simulating the microclimate of a real forest inside the mall. Its massive skylight allows plants to grow naturally within a fully urban environment, something extremely rare in commercial structures. The curved design was created to guide the eye upward, giving the impression that the forest grows, breathes, and expands before visitors. It is impossible not to feel as if you are entering another planet, where life emerges from steel, glass, and light, and where the city found a magical way to remind us that the future can also flourish. In the far north of Sweden, where winter seems endless, a structure emerges that defies logic itself. A hotel entirely carved from ice. Every year, artists from around the world recreate its corridors, rooms, and halls, turning the space into a living exhibition. Nothing there is permanent. Everything exists only as long as the cold sustains those crystalline walls, like an ephemeral temple built solely to enchant before it disappears. The rooms glow with translucent sculptures that capture light like frozen jewels. Ice beds are covered with thermal furs and blankets, while entire columns are shaped from hand-carved blocks. Absolute silence is broken only by the Arctic wind, creating an atmosphere suspended in time. Sleeping there feels like experiencing a nearly supernatural sense of calm and vastness. When spring arrives, the ice hotel returns to the torn river from which it was taken, completing the natural cycle that sustains it. This impermanence is exactly what makes it so magical. You do not visit a building, you visit a moment. Each year, a new version is born completely different from the last, reminding us that even the most fantastic places exist only while the cold allows them to. In the luminous heart of Las Vegas, a structure rises that seems to have fallen straight out of another dimension. The Sphere is an artificial planet, a monumental globe covered with more than 1 million LEDs capable of transforming its surface into any image imaginable. It changes color, face, and theme, like a digital organism pulsing in the desert. It is impossible to pass by without feeling that the future has materialized right there. Inside, the spectacle is even more impressive. The world's largest indoor LED screen completely surrounds the audience, creating the sensation of being inside a universe of its own. Three-dimensional sound, massive scale projections, and immersive effects make visitors completely forget the outside world. There, technology is not just used, it is lived, breathed, and absorbed through the experience. The Sphere is so bright that pilots report seeing it from dozens of kilometers away, even from the air, making it one of the most easily recognizable visual landmarks in Las Vegas at night. On some days, it displays images so realistic that they have triggered traffic alerts, as drivers slow down believing they are seeing a colossal object on the horizon. More than a theater, the Sphere represents a new kind of projected reality, where narrative and space merge into a single work. Each show transforms the interior into fantastic worlds, living forests, galaxies, seas, and impossible cities. Las Vegas has always been synonymous with spectacle, but here it goes even further, redefining what is possible in entertainment. Amid Singapore's impeccable urban landscape, a structure emerges that challenges traditional construction logic. The Interlace is a residential complex that looks as if it were stacked by giants, with entire blocks suspended, crossed, and overlapped with near impossible precision. Each module opens space for elevated gardens, creating a green mosaic between the heights, more like a habitable sculpture than conventional architecture. Its design breaks every rule of modern vertical development. Instead of the independent towers that dominate metropolises, here the buildings connect in horizontal layers, forming courtyards, passageways, and shared areas that float between levels. The result is a visual labyrinth that mixes shadow, light, and vegetation on every side. Walking through it feels like exploring a living organism in constant expansion. The complex is so monumental that it houses 1,040 apartments distributed across 70-meter-long blocks, stacked like colossal pieces of a three-dimensional puzzle. Its construction required thousands of tons of precast concrete, allowing each block to be suspended with millimetric precision on top of the other. This technique drastically reduced the use of ground-level space and expanded the green area, creating one of the boldest residential structures ever built in Asia. The interlace doesn't just house lives, it redefines how living within a city can be a work of art. The project also became a global reference in sustainability. Its interlaced form allows natural ventilation, reduces energy consumption, and creates microclimates that make the environment cooler and more comfortable. Even with its monumental appearance, there is delicacy in every detail. The interlace shows how the future can be grand without losing its soul. A vertical city reinvented to live and breathe. In the crystal-clear waters of the Maldives, Conrad Hangali Island feels more like an architectural fantasy than a real resort. Its structures spread across winding bridges, suspended villas, and platforms that touch the endless blue. The sensation is of walking over the ocean itself, with each step revealing a new horizon. It is not just accommodation, it is a dive into a living dream. The highlight of this experience is the famous Muraka, the world's first underwater residence. There, panoramic windows reveal marine life gliding just a few centimeters away, as if the guest were living inside a crystal dome on the ocean floor. Above, the upper level offers unlimited views of the sky that seem stitched to the ocean. It is a surreal fusion of luxury, nature, and engineering. The resort also stands out for its restaurants installed over the water, floating spaces, and spaces that change with the light of the day. Each structure was designed to harmonize with the island's natural rhythm, creating a rare balance between sophistication and serenity. At Conrad Hangali, the impossible becomes everyday life and the everyday pure magic. Its construction included special techniques to preserve local marine life, including natural barriers that redirect currents to protect areas of growing coral. At Conrad Hangali, the impossible stops being fantasy and becomes a real place, where the ocean, architecture, and deep silence form a world that exists only there and in no other corner of the earth. At night, the Helix Bridge awakens like a living sculpture, illuminated by tones that seem to pulse in the same rhythm as the bay. Its spiral design, inspired by human DNA, creates passages of light that follow each step of the visitor. Walking there feels like entering a corridor of energy, where the city shines as if it were breathing. Nothing feels fixed. Everything vibrates, shifts, and glows. At night, the Helix Bridge awakens like a living sculpture, illuminated by tones that seem to pulse in the same rhythm as the bay. Its spiral design, inspired by human DNA, creates passages of light that follow each step of the visitor. Walking there feels like entering a corridor of energy, where the city shines as if it were breathing. Nothing feels fixed. Everything vibrates, shifts, and glows. And only when the sun finally rises do we perceive its real structure, revealed in daylight as a work of meticulous engineering. The steel in the shape of a helix shows its design clearly, complex and elegant, like an architectural sketch brought to life. We then see that this bridge is not just a path. It is a symbol of Singapore's inventive spirit, a work that connects not only places, but also ideas. Dominating the futuristic skyline of Singapore, Marina Bay Sands seems to defy all laws of balance and imagination. 3 colossal towers support a ship-shaped platform that rests on top as if it were about to sail into the sky. This construction has become one of the most iconic landmarks of contemporary architecture. And when seeing it for the first time, it is impossible not to feel that you are facing something that goes beyond reality. Inside its walls, an entire city comes to life. Theaters, museums, gardens, shopping malls, and one of the most sophisticated casinos in the world. But it is at the top, in the famous Sky Park, that the magic reaches its peak. The infinity pool extends to the edge of the horizon, creating the illusion that the water touches the sky. There, Singapore unfolds in 360°, a view that mixes modernity, nature, and grandeur. The Sky Park at the top of Marina Bay Sands was built as a single continuous structure measuring 340 meters, so large that it had to be assembled in parts and slid into place like a giant puzzle. It is larger than the Eiffel Tower laid down. Even for those who only observe it from afar, Marina Bay Sands tells a silent story of human ambition. Its bold design required unprecedented structural solutions, allowing the upper platform to extend beyond the towers like an architectural leap. Every line and every curve seemed choreographed to surprise. Vermont Doha rises on the skyline like a pair of golden towers that seem to have been designed for a futuristic kingdom. Inspired by the traditional armor of Arab knights, the building reveals metallic curves and luminous patterns that shine under the Gulf sun. Its monumental presence in the Lua Marina district turns it into an instant landmark. It is the kind of construction that makes the visitor question whether they have entered another dimension. Inside, each space was designed to convey technological grandeur without abandoning Qatar's luxurious aesthetic. Details in glass, gold, and marble reflect light in an almost hypnotic way, creating environments that seem alive. The lobby, with its colossal volumes and geometric design, gives the sensation of crossing a portal into a sophisticated world. Nothing there is ordinary. Everything is crafted to impress. Vermont houses some of the largest interior spaces ever designed for a hotel in Qatar, with volumes so vast that they seem to defy traditional proportions. Each environment was designed to reflect light and create a sense of movement, as if the architecture were breathing. The suites offer views that reach across the entire artificial horizon of Dora's planned marinas and canals. Fairmont combines automation, sustainability, and contemporary Arab aesthetics, becoming an icon of the country's new futuristic face. Each reveals new layers of design that challenge simplicity. It is a hotel that seems to have been built to impress kings and travelers curious about the extraordinary. A work that transforms luxury into living architecture and makes Dora sound like a glimpse of tomorrow. At Fairmont de Dora, the future is not observed, it is lived. Galaxy Soho is one of the most impressive works by the architect Zaha Hadid, a complex that seems to have been shaped by the wind. Nothing there has harsh angles, only continuous curves that connect like architectural nebulas. The building appears to be in permanent flow, as if it were expanding with every glance. It is architecture that breathes, moves, and challenges the static logic of traditional cities. The four main volumes intertwine through suspended bridges that create the sensation of walking between planets. The interior is bathed in natural light that cascades down through curved voids, highlighting the constant movement of the structure. Each step reveals a new perspective, as if the building had a life of its own. It is a space journey without leaving Beijing. More than a commercial and business center, Galaxy Soho is a manifesto about the future of urban megastructures. It proposes a different way of existing in the city, more fluid, more organic, more human. Its iconic form redefined the skyline of Beijing and inspired architects around the world. A reminder that the future can be beautiful, bold, and without visual boundaries. In the heart of Singapore's airport, the rain vortex emerges like a suspended waterfall that challenges any expectation about urban spaces. Water falls from a height of 40 meters inside a monumental glass structure, creating a spectacle that feels alive. Light passes through the top of the dome and blends with the veil of moving water. It is as if the sky had opened just to reveal an architectural miracle. Around the fall, a tropical garden spreads in layers, transforming the terminal into a refuge that combines nature and engineering in an impeccable way. Elevated walkways allow visitors to move as if they were floating through a suspended forest. The symphony of water echoes through the space, creating an almost meditative sensation. Nothing there resembles a traditional airport. It is another universe. Even under daylight, the rain vortex seems to choreograph its own existence, with water creating shapes that transform with every glance. The droplets spread into soft mists that capture natural light, generating almost ethereal reflections without the need for artificial effects. Everything around moves in harmony: plants, visitors, architecture. It is the kind of setting that turns a simple passage through the airport into a moment of absolute enchantment. Burj Al Arab rises from the sea like a giant sail, ready to capture the winds of the future. Built on an artificial island, it redefines the concept of architectural boldness in one of the most futuristic settings in the world. Its white curves seem to float over turquoise blue waters, creating a silhouette that is impossible to ignore. It is a monument that blends technology, luxury, and imagination in almost theatrical proportions. Every detail of the building was designed to convey grandeur and precision, from its sail-shaped structure to the enormous atrium that echoes light and openness. Engineering here does not limit itself to erecting a building. It creates a sensory experience that begins even before arrival, approaching from the sea. It is as if Burj Al Arab announces entry into a realm where reality is surpassed by design, a place that exists to challenge expectations. The island that supports it was created specifically for this purpose, reinforcing the idea that Burj Al Arab does not merely occupy Dubai, it reinvents it. It is a work that synthesizes the city's audacious spirit, an icon that transformed luxury into architecture and architecture into a global symbol. As we leave behind these destinations that feel more like windows into other realities, one certainty remains. The world never stops reinventing itself. From Dubai, the Maldives, from Singapore to China. Each work reminds us that human imagination is capable of transforming entire landscapes. And when we walk together through places so extraordinary, we realize that traveling is not just changing scenery, it is changing perspective. If you felt this sense of wonder resonate as we discovered these marvels, then be part of this ongoing journey. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and keep traveling with us. This simple gesture helps us reach new horizons and bring even more surprising stories to you. the world is vast, restless, and full of beauty. And we remain here to reveal all of it, one magical destination at a time. Thank you for being with us on this path that blends dreams, technology, and discoveries, so that together we can keep finding the many charms around the world. And now we conclude today's journey, taking with us unforgettable memories. Until the next trip.